Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to bring people from across the country to talk to me about cool things we could do right here in New Mexico. On this week's show, we got this.
So here we have our French onion ramen, and it's got beautiful caramelized onions in there. For low waste menus, we have a pozole verde. And this is basically something that I grew up eating. But the cool thing here is that you utilize every part of the vegetable.
All that and more right here on New Mexico Rising.
Did you know that the third week of September is known as peak week, when asthma attacks spike and emergency rooms see a surge in visits? Today we are diving into why this happens and how those with asthma can navigate through this challenging time. Joining us are Dr. Payal Gupta, a triple board certified allergy specialist, and Ziva Lennox, a mother and blogger living with severe asthma. They're here with insights and tips on managing asthma during peak week. Welcome, Dr. Gupta and Ziva.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is peak week and why is it so serious for people with asthma?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, Asthma Peak Week is the third week in September every year, and it's a time when we see increased hospitalizations and ER visits related to asthma. And the reason for this is there's a whole host of factors that come into play during this time of the year. Number one, fall allergy season. So we've got increased amounts of ragweed pollen and also mold allergies. In addition, cooler temperatures can affect people with asthma, and it also means we're spending more time indoors, which means more exposure to dust mites. And number three, our kiddos are back in school and they're bringing home all of these germs and viral infections. So all of these fall viral illnesses can also make people's asthma worse. And this is true for anybody with asthma, but especially for anybody who has severe or uncontrolled asthma. They need to be particularly careful during this time of the year. And that affects, in that category, there's almost 1 million people in the US that are affected with severe uncontrolled asthma.
What is it like living with asthma during this time of year, and how do you get through the season?
Fall is often overlooked, but it can be a very scary season for us living with severe asthma. There's about 8 different triggers in the air that can cause asthma attacks, and it often feels like they all hit at once. And so oftentimes, even though fall is supposed to be a beautiful season, I have to think long and hard about different activities, as simple as going to my kids' sports games. I have 2 little boys, so they keep me very busy and very much an outdoor living situation. And if your asthma is not managed, then it can easily lead to an urgent care visit or a hospitalization. And that's not how you want to deal with your severe asthma. And that's something that I did for a long time. I would kind of wait until I was in trouble and ended up in the ER or urgent care. And I've worked with an asthma specialist and to help develop an asthma management plan so that I can avoid that whole scene altogether and just bring my quality of life back and not have to make those tough choices about foregoing things that I really love to do and spending time with my family or supporting just because I know it's going to lead to an asthma flare-up. So really, really important to get an asthma specialist, talk about your symptoms, have a discussion, especially ahead of peak week when this is about to all hit, and it's not something that's just this week or this month. Asthma is a year-long condition, and so having a really great partner in an asthma specialist is the best thing that you can do.
And what makes severe asthma severe?
So asthma is a chronic lung condition that is caused by inflammation in the airways. And when somebody has severe asthma, that means that they have a serious lung condition where they have more inflammation in their airways than other asthma patients. And when you have more inflammation, that means you can get into trouble more easily. So ways to know if your asthma is not controlled, there's something called the rule of 2s. And what that is 3 questions that we can ask ourselves. Number 1, are you using your asthma inhaler or having symptoms related to your asthma more than 2 times a week? Number 2, are you waking up because of your asthma more than 2 times a month? And number 3, are you having to get refills of your asthma rescue inhaler more than 2 times a year. If you answer yes to any of these questions, that means that you have uncontrolled asthma and it's time to see an asthma specialist who can help you develop a plan to control your asthma, prevent that inflammation, which means preventing those hospitalizations and ER visits.
Why is it important for people with severe asthma to be working with a specialist?
I think oftentimes we're all so busy, it's easy to put our health in the back burner and just wait for that very acute thing to flare up and you have a situation. But working with an asthma specialist can help prevent all of that and give you more stability with your condition, and also help you understand how severe your asthma is if you have asthma. And noasthmapeaks.com is a wonderful website that we have where you can find an asthma specialist in your area. You can also find out a lot of information about different triggers and asthma just in general. If you want more information, it's spelled KNOW asthmapeaks.com, and that's the number one thing I would recommend that you do if you have asthma, especially during this peak week time.
Thank you, you two.
Thank you.
Nearly 40 million Americans have diabetes, and almost half are seniors with type 2 diabetes. Managing the condition is crucial, especially for this high-risk group, but many don't know that Medicare has expanded coverage to help. So joining us today are Dr. Mahmood Kazemi, Chief Medical Officer for Abbott's Diabetes Care Business, and Fran List, a Medicare beneficiary living with diabetes, here to explain more. Welcome to the show, you two.
Thank you for having us.
All right, doctor. Someone with diabetes needs to know their glucose levels. What kinds of challenges do people with diabetes face daily when it comes to keeping their levels in a healthy range?
So diabetes is a complex health condition, and it really involves how the body processes fuel to energy, and this relies on the hormone insulin. And in the case of diabetes, either the body is not producing enough insulin, or the insulin that it is producing is not being used efficiently. And unfortunately, the symptoms of diabetes can often be mistaken for those of normal aging, things like worsening vision, or, for example, having to use the bathroom more frequently. So it's very important for people to speak to their healthcare providers about being screened for diabetes, and also to know that we now have technologies like continuous glucose monitors that can really improve the quality of life for those living with diabetes.
Continuous glucose monitors, can you tell us about those and how do they work?
Sure. So continuous glucose monitors, or CGMs, have been around for about 20 years, but unfortunately less than 10% of people living with diabetes are currently using them. In the case of the Freestyle Libre family of products, these sensors are as small as 2 stacked pennies, and they're applied to the back of the arm and can be worn for up to 15 days. And what happens is that the sensor is continuously measuring the glucose values and then relaying them to either an app on a smartphone or to a reader. And the person living with diabetes can use this information to make better choices about their activity, their diet, and their medications.
And Fran, you have experience with diabetes and CGMs. Can you share a little bit more?
Well, when I was first diagnosed with diabetes, I, like so many others my age, was in denial. I didn't feel any direct pain with diabetes. I just was told, your glucose is out of hand. So once I started using a CGM, my husband and I like to travel. I'm not afraid to go anywhere because I have a CGM.
And there has been a change in Medicare that means more seniors living with diabetes can use a continuous glucose monitor. Is that right, doctor?
That's right. So Medicare changed the eligibility criteria in April of 2023 to include Medicare beneficiaries who are using any form of insulin or who have problematic low glucose levels. And this means that about 2 million Medicare beneficiaries are eligible for this technology. But we know that less than half of those individuals and their healthcare providers are actually aware of this change. And that's part of the reason why Fran and I are here today with you. And Fran, does it surprise you at all that there's such little awareness around this change in technology with coverage?
It really doesn't surprise me that many people with diabetes and even healthcare providers don't realize that CGMs are covered by Medicare. People see my CGM on my arm and ask me about it all the time. They want to know what it does and how it helps. It's knowledge. Knowledge provides power, and this has helped me so much. I also encourage them, talk to your doctor, find out if you're eligible.
And that's really important, obviously, because I was going to mention that we have also a series of digital tools that can be used in this context as well. So the person that's using the technology can share with their healthcare provider through our LibreView platform, or they can also share with friends and family through our Libre Link Up app. And I know, Fran, you've shared with me that you've been sharing your values with your daughter.
Yes, as a matter of fact, my daughter will call me and say, Mom, your CGM alarms are going off. Are you okay? And I have to admit, it feels really wonderful to know that I'm connected with my family and feeling their support in my walk with diabetes.
Well, thank you, too, for joining me this morning. Where can we go for more information?
So certainly people who are Medicare beneficiaries can check with their Medicare plan. For eligible individuals, this technology should be available for little to no monthly cost. And if they'd like more information, they can go to our myfreestyle.com website. Again, that's myfreestyle.com.
Thank you, too, for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Are rising insurance costs hitting your wallet? So today, we're going to explore how the legal system abuse is driving up expenses for pretty much everyone. So joining us is expert Robert P. Hartwig from the University of South Carolina, and he's here to kind of give us some insight in what we could do. Welcome to the show, Robert. How are you?
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so how is litigation impacting consumers?
You know, litigation is one of these cost drivers that affects the price of everything that we buy, every product and every service. And what we are seeing is that excessive litigation in the United States is costing consumers about $450 billion a year, about $300 billion of that to businesses, $150 billion to consumers. And yes, it's driving up the price of everything we buy, but it's also driving up your insurance costs. Because every time a lawsuit is filed in relation to an ordinary automobile claim or against a business, ultimately that's going to result in an insurance claim. And when we have jury awards rising far faster than the pace of inflation and far in excess of what actual economic damages are, this pushes up your insurance costs. So it makes insurance less affordable and in some instances even less available.
So what is the economic impact of the surge in litigation?
You know, that's a good question. Remember, we've suffered in this country through very high inflation over the past couple of years. But what many people don't understand is some of that is due to the runaway litigation we're here talking about. This, if you boil it down, if we take this $450 billion or so, this amounts to a tax on households. You can think about it as a litigation tax of about $3,600 per year. Now, again, part of that is reflected in the higher cost of goods and services that we purchase, but again, in the higher cost of insurance as well. So we cannot forget that litigation costs are one of the most important determinants of insurance costs today.
So what action is necessary to alleviate these concerns and try to lower some of the costs for consumers?
That's a great question. We certainly recommend that courts and juries limit awards to some reasonable multiple of actual economic damages, not the kind of sky is the limit sort of philosophy that exists in many courts throughout the United States today. And the second would be, and many people would be surprised to hear that there are outside investors these days who are investing in lawsuits. And what they are doing is they are hoping to profit from that lawsuit. And they hope the higher the jury award, the better, because they get a proportion of it. So they are profiting from this. They are not the plaintiff. They're not the defendant. They have nothing to do with it other than they are simply trying to profit from this. So making sure that these third-party investors are, in fact, required to be disclosed to the judge, to the jury, in other words, to the court. And what we found is that when courts, judges, and juries find out that there are some third party here who's trying to essentially profit off the misfortune of others, they look at that with a very skeptical eye. And in fact, what it can do is help to kind of rein in kind of out of control jury awards that we have seen in many cases, because they know that a chunk of that award is actually going to go to investors, some of whom are even from outside the United States.
All right, Dr. Hartwig, thanks for joining me this morning. Where can we go for more information about this?
Yeah, we recommend that you go to apci.org to learn more.
Thanks for joining me, my friend.
Thank you.
Is your home truly protected from unexpected repairs? Well, today we're going to explore the differences between home warranties and homeowners insurance and why you probably might need both. So joining us today is Meredith Sprecher, Director of Acquisition at Front Door Incorporated, the parent company of American Home Shield. Welcome to the show, Meredith. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
All right. You got to explain this to me. What is a home warranty and what does that actually cover?
Yes, a home warranty is a yearly protection plan that provides coverage for the systems and appliances in your home. That's things like your AC, your refrigerator, your washer and dryer, the things you depend on every day. A home warranty steps in and helps cover the cost when these things break down, and oftentimes those breakdowns can be pretty expensive.
So what makes a home warranty different from homeowner's insurance, and why would you need both?
That's a great question. It's something that's confusing for a lot of people. Home insurance covers things that might happen. So that's things like damage from a natural disaster like a tornado or a hurricane or even a fire. A home warranty covers the things that will happen, like your AC going out or your refrigerator not cooling. In fact, you're about 25 times more likely to use a home warranty than to use your homeowner's insurance. However, they really complement one another. For many, your home is your most valuable asset, and having both a home warranty and homeowner's insurance is the best way to protect your home.
So how does a home warranty benefit a homeowner?
Right. There are so many benefits, a number of benefits. Like I just mentioned, your home is your greatest asset. And if you're anything like me, you spend the bulk of your time in your home. One of the greatest benefits to me is that it can really help protect you against an unexpected hit to your savings. It's not a matter of if something's going to break down, it's when. And a home warranty helps you to be financially prepared when something does break down. A home warranty also provides peace of mind. Homeownership can be stressful. I know, I am a homeowner. I'm also a mom and I work full time, so I don't always have time to go out and to search for a reputable repair technician when something breaks down in my home. That's where we step in. A home warranty provides homeowners one place to go when something breaks down. From there, we take over, locate a reputable repair technician, and send them to your home to help you get up and running again.
So how do you know what you should have covered under a home warranty?
Well, like I've mentioned, we cover your systems and appliances. I know there are some homeowners that are more worried about particular systems or appliances in their home, and that's why American Home Shield has 3 plans: the Silver Plan, Gold, and Platinum Plan. Each coverage provides a different level of coverage options and also covers different items in your home. The Silver Plan covers the 14 most important systems in your home, like your AC, your electrical, and plumbing systems. The Gold Plan covers everything in the Silver Plan, but also covers those important kitchen and laundry appliances. Then, finally, we have the Platinum Plan, which provides the most comprehensive coverage. It provides coverage for the 23 systems and appliances we just talked about in the Silver and Gold Plan, but it also provides added benefits like coverage for roof leak repairs and even a free HVAC tune-up.
All right, Meredith, thanks for joining me this morning. Where can we go for more information?
Yes, please visit us at ahs.com. There you can get a quote, learn more about our coverage, and even enroll today.
Thanks for joining me this morning.
Yes, thank you for having me.
The back at school season can be a significant transition for both parents, children, and everybody else in between. With many of us needing guidance on managing our health, what can we eat? And how can we manage our general well-being? Mia Syn is a registered dietitian and nationally recognized nutrition expert, and she's joining us today with helpful tips to navigate this time of year. So let's welcome her back to the show. Mia Syn, how are you, my friend?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me back.
All right, so what would be your recommendation for parents looking to make mealtime easy and fun?
Yes, well, I hear it all the time from parents. What do I feed my kids for lunch? Well, Lunchables are a convenient, affordable, stress-free option that can make mealtime easy and fun while also fueling kids through the day. And as a registered dietitian, I love that they contain protein, fiber, calcium, and potassium. These are nutrients that many children fall short on. And here in my kitchen, I have their Cracker Stacker snack kits. These provide 13 grams of protein and include turkey slices, cheese slices, and crackers. And for over 35 years, Lunchables have been parent approved and kid loved. They're available nationwide in conveniently packaged single serve kits, which are perfect for lunch boxes, but really any time of the day, including after school sports practice.
So are there any tips that you have for the entire family to help them reach health and wellness goals kind of throughout the year?
Yes, well, Back to school season is a great time for the whole family to hone in on their health and wellness. And while we can't stop the clock on aging, we can take steps to help the process. And Solgar's new age-defying nutrition line of supplements is powered by clinically studied ingredients to help support joints, muscles, memory, hair, skin, and eyes. Here I have their muscle maintenance, which helps preserve lean muscle tissue, helps support recovery after intense exercise, and supports muscle function and mass. And the Joint Ease is formulated to support joint health, reduction in joint pain from physical activity, and a healthy inflammatory response. And you can find the full range of Solgar's age-defying nutrition line at the Vitamin Shop stores and vitaminshop.com, which is the leading destination for lifelong wellness solutions.
And with so many options out there, what is like your choice for after school snacks?
Yes, well, if you're looking for something wholesome that kids love and will help make parents' lives a little bit easier, turn to Farm Rich. They are one of America's favorite frozen snack brands. Everyone loves their mozzarella sticks. They're made with real mozzarella cheese, so they contain protein and calcium. And you can make sort of a fun after-school snack board to help get kids excited about homework. I included their mozzarella sticks, mozzarella bites, the boneless chicken bites, and crispy breaded pickles. I even snuck a few raw veggies in there as well. And you can get more ideas like this and see more of their products at farmrich.com.
Hey, I'm loving everything that you're bringing to me. You got like charcuterie for kids, you got appetizers for adults, and all that other, and everybody else in between. Where can we go for more information about all the good stuff that you talked about today?
Yes, for more information, you can head to my website, which is nutritionbymia.com.
Mia Syn, thanks for joining me this morning, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Caught between caring for both children and aging parents. Many women in the sandwich generation are facing unique financial challenges. And today, Lisa Peel, principal and head financial planning at Edward Jones, is here to shed a little light on these issues and offer strategies for women balancing caregiving and financial planning. So let's welcome her to the show. Lisa, how are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on the show, Dan.
Okay, so what is the sandwich generation, and how are women in this group most impacted?
Yeah, so the sandwich generation isn't the typical generation that you think about, baby boomers or millennials, where it has a beginning and an ending time period, but it really is defined by folks that are caring for children and caring for aging relatives, and they're sandwiched in between these caregiving responsibilities. And we recently did a survey to see how this is impacting especially women. And what we learned is that half of the women in the sandwich generation reported that they're feeling emotional and financial stress due to juggling all these multiple responsibilities.
Okay, so what are women in the sandwich generation generally focused on financially?
Yeah, so what they're really focused on financially in the short term is they're acting as the CFO of their households, and they're responsible for about 85% of the spending decisions related to their house. The impact that is having, though, it is not allowing them the time to focus on the long term, which they're really wanting to think about retirement and their own healthcare cost in the future. And because of the lack of time to really plan ahead for the future, it's lowering their confidence in what their outlook is for the future.
So what are some of the main hurdles women and caregivers face with investing?
Yeah, so it's really two main things women are facing is time to sit down and to plan and to think about that. And then again is the confidence that they have in their retirement and their futures because they haven't spent the time prioritizing those goals and working with someone to put a plan together.
So what are women looking for in a financial advisor?
So women are really looking for three things in a financial advisor. The first thing is someone that has investment expertise. Secondly, someone that's transparent about their fees. But most importantly, what we know that women are looking for someone that can really empathize with their situation, that can help them think about what the possibilities are for the future, create goals for those, and then really keep them on track to achieve those goals. I like to say bottom line is they're looking for somebody that gets them, guides them, and makes it easy for them.
Lisa Peel, thanks for joining me this morning. Where can we go for more information?
Dan, you can go to edwardjones.com to learn more about this specific survey and to also get investment information.
Thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Veggies are stealing the show. Local flavors are abundant and comfort foods are getting a modern twist. Folks under 40 are shaking up the food scene. A new report reveals that Gen Z is driving the demand for unique dining experiences spending nearly half of their monthly expenses on eating out. I kind of do it too. They do it more than they do on clothes and entertainment. The shift is changing food expectations in restaurants, and the restaurants are pretty much stepping up their game. So joining us from Chicago is Chef Alvaro Lima, who's here to share the top 5 future menu styles shaping the food industry. Welcome to the show, Chef. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
All right. Can you tell us about what's going on in the world of Gen Z leading these food styles, and what are some of the things that they are starting to look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Unilever Food Solutions, we've come up with these 5 future menu trends. They're modernized comfort foods, low waste menus, irresistible vegetables, local abundance, and the new sharing. And basically what our goal is to share these with operators, share these with chefs so that they can create a more trendier, unique dining experience for their guests.
And the stuff that's in front of you, that looks amazing. Can you tell about what some of that stuff is?
Yeah, absolutely. So for modernized comfort foods, we're putting a modern twist on a comfort food. So here we have our French onion ramen, and it's got beautiful caramelized onions in there. For low waste menus, we have a pozole verde. And this is basically something that I grew up eating. But the cool thing here is that you utilize every part of the vegetable. So stems, peels, bottoms, tops, and then it's helping cut back on food waste. For our local abundance, we have our beeten mushroom slider. So this is almost like making a potato latke, but instead we're using beets and mushrooms. And we've tied that all together with our Hellmann's vegan mayonnaise. And basically that's sharing that story from local farmers, locally sourced produce, and their commitment to sustainability.
And you keep saying it, waste, and it's kind of a big deal for Gen Z. What about like shopping local, and how are these priorities influencing the menus these days?
Absolutely. So it's something that, you know, is trendier on menus. Chefs and operators being able to share that story, being able to showcase, you know, locally sourced ingredients. I think also mentioning, you know, the farmers and their commitment to sustainability is huge, and we're seeing that more and more on menus. So we're just trying to help operators, you know, create more trendy twists to those dishes that they're preparing.
And with fresh takes on like comfort foods and making veggies irresistible, how can we jazz up some of the dishes that we make here at home?
Absolutely. So at home, what I like to do is I like to take miscellaneous ingredients, maybe noodles, potatoes, add some fresh herbs, add some other vegetables to it, maybe some citrus, some vinegar, and then fold that all together with some Hellmann's mayonnaise to create a wonderful bound salad. Or maybe I'm grilling some chicken or some pork chops, and I want to add a little extra umami to one of the sauces that I may be serving it with. We're adding our Knorr professional bouillon to that as well, just to create a more flavorful, savory forward experience.
Chef Alfie, thanks for joining me this morning. Hey, where can we go for more information on any of this?
Yeah, everybody can download the Future Menus Trend Report at unileverfoodsolutions.us. You're going to see the recipes there. You're going to see tips and tricks for home cooks and for professional chefs.
Thanks for joining me this morning, my friend.
Thank you so much.
And that is it for New Mexico Rising. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you actually want to be on the show, just email me. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Go to our website. That's newmexicorising.com. Until next week, that was New Mexico Rising.